It's Andrija. Come on up, Andrija. If you have 5 minutes to tell a story inspired by brass, copper, and zinc.
A few years ago, I sat across from my husband in my living room while he told me he wanted a divorce. And I sat there and I remember staring intently at the little crack in the glass of my brass-framed coffee table. And I remember staring and staring and staring and hoping that what he was saying wasn't real. Well, a couple days later, I started a point-to-point trek from Canada to Nevada through Idaho. It's a 920-mile trek. So two days later, I found myself on this trail, and I'm not gonna lie, it was the first couple weeks were hell. And aside from the obvious physical pain that I was experiencing from doing 25 to 35 miles of running / fast packing a day, the mental anguish was probably beyond anything at that point that I thought I could ever get through. So day after day, every joy, every disappointment of the past 12 years of marriage ran across my mind and demanded to be relived and completely reckoned with. So after a particularly horrible day, 24 days in, we hadn't seen anyone, my trail partner and I hadn't seen anyone in about 2 weeks, aside from each other, pretty much hated each other, really hated the 1 to 2 albums that were downloaded on our phones. At this point, we were walking several hundred meters from each other. And that day, because we were running behind our schedule, we decided we needed to do 45 miles, I guess, in that day. That was 45-mile day. And so at the end of that day, we just collapsed. And just like every day leading up to that, I would collapse into my sleeping bag, and I would be exhausted. But the mind reel would start. So physically, my body's screaming at me for sleep, screaming at me for rest, and yet my mind wouldn't let it go. So I'd play this game, and I would say, oh, okay, all right, when I get home, I have all these ideas. I'm going to convince my husband that he doesn't want to leave me. No way, that's stupid. He's going to want to be with me when I get home. Just wait. 30 days without me, he's going to want me back. So that would give me a little bit of respite. I would fall asleep in this fitful sleep, and I would get a little bit of rest. So at the end of this 45-mile day, I slept maybe a total of 30 minutes. But here's what was exciting, was we were finally out of the wilderness. It makes me want to break into song, but I'll let you all do it in your head. And we had a 17-mile day ahead of us before we would meet our crew that would take us through the next 100 or 260 miles, I guess it was. And one of these people included my brother, and I was just so excited. So we hand our packs off to the ranger, who had been expecting us because my brother had been there for 2 days straight. Oh, is she here yet? Oh gosh, maybe we should call search and rescue. She's behind schedule. I'd showed up. So we hand our packs to this ranger, and the ranger shuttles them to our camp. And my trail partner and I start off, and for the first time in 2 weeks, we're actually running. We have no pack. We feel so light and amazing. And 10 miles in, I kind of look back just a split second to say something to him, and I trip. I still don't know what made me trip, but I tripped. And I had about, maybe 2 seconds to realize I'm not hitting the trail. I'm going off this cliff. So I remember pitching forward, and I touch the trail, but I just go free fall head first off this cliff. And I'm running along the middle fork of the Salmon River. Probably some of you know this river. And all I know is it's about 50 feet below me. And I'm just falling, and I'm not, anything I'm touching is just falling out of the cliff because it's all just this loose rocks and dirt. And I'm saying, no, 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 you have to stop. You have to stop, like now, you have to stop. And I can kind of hear my trail partner just screaming my name, but I just completely tunnel vision, or tunnel sound, I'm not sure what to say there. And at the moment that I just let it go, my heel, I had at this point flipped so many times that I'm going foot first down. My heel hit a rock that suddenly didn't move. My hand gripped something in the dirt that didn't move at the same time that my body kind of wedged itself into this crevice. And it, at the same time as everything was so loud, it was so quiet. So I quickly evaluate myself, and I just hear my breath, just, okay, I'm good. I yell up to my trail partner, I'm okay, because at this point he's screaming bloody murder. I wish he was here so he could like mimic it, but it was bad. I crawl back up, and we finish our 7 miles that we have left. So I'm going to skip forward a little. There's a lot more to it, but I think I'm going to skip. And 3 days later, I still kept trying. We tried to do our 30 miles a day. And I'm finishing it up, I swear. And 3 days later, a stomach virus attacks me. At the same time, my body decides it doesn't want to do this, and I have to quit. The next day, my husband brings the divorce papers over. And a couple hours later, I put an ad on Craigslist that says, for sale, brass framed coffee table. Slight crack in the glass, however, the frame is very sturdy.